Hey, what's up, guys? It's John from RealGamerNewZ, and I just want to take a moment to talk about something that happened recently. Sony has dropped a PlayStation blog post. In the post, they basically say that they're going to do a state of play this Thursday on August 6th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, which that's 4 p.m. if you're on Eastern time, East Coast. And they're going to do it on Twitch and YouTube. It's a live event. Now, the thing here is they're going to not have any new announcements by the sound of things, and they sort of tried to prepare us for that by saying it's mostly about PS4 and PSVR. It's updates on games that are coming to those, as well as update on third-party PS5 games which are already released, and indie titles which were shown last June. The episode is 40 minutes long, so probably some deep dives in terms of gameplay. And of course, any event like this is usually pretty decent. I mean, Sony has had a bad track record with events for the past couple years, but they're starting to get back on their game with that finally. And the post, of course, has some people a little upset because they're not going to be seeing any hardware updates, any price updates, pre-order, no new big game announcements and stuff like that. And the game console is like pretty much 3 months away, so that's pretty weird. It's unprecedented for sure. We've had a really spread out marketing plan from Xbox and PlayStation, as well as even companies like Ubisoft, and they're throwing like these really tiny events and not really bothering to compile a big event. Number one, because they have to work from home, they had to, and some still have to at certain points. And number two, because they've adapted this new strategy since there's not an E3 this year, of trying it out as an online small presentations, more focused. And you could say that that strategy is a hit or miss on people, to say the least. So fans are not very happy about that. But I come to wonder, is Sony baiting us with this? And I have a curiosity here about whether they're planning something where they're going to get a great event for us later, and the publicity helps it get more views, or the event is better than we think and they, BS us. But that's unlikely though. Although it has happened. David Jaffe one time said he's not going to be at E3 one year, and then he's there and announced a game as well, which was totally world premiere. Either way, this opens a dialogue and keeps the spotlight on Sony in a way that will amplify their announcement of any price, release date, pre-order, or big PS5 games, since even more people than ever will be thinking about them due to their rage at the anti-consumer practices that Sony's allegedly partaking in lately. Now, personally, I don't really think that they're doing super anti-consumer things. I'm just saying that's what the gaming community, which is kind of whiny at times, I'll admit it. I've been part of that problem at some points, but it is what it is. We're all human. I think Resident Evil VR will be a big focus of the show, and what I'm basically saying when I say that it'll amplify any like release date or anything pre-order stuff, I mean later. Like say August 6th, they upset everybody with an event. It's good event, but it's just not what they wanted. It's not what they expected, is what I heard. Then they're like, oh, next week the pre-orders are open. It's going to be more attention on that pre-order than it previously would have been if they didn't have the bad event. It's almost like a reverse psychology. P.T. Barnum once said, any publicity is good publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So, as long as they spell your name right. Okay? PlayStation 5 might be getting haters trolling online that, why are they showing PS4 games, Xbox for life, right? Stuff like that, the online trolls. And what is it going to do? It's going to amplify the SEO of the word PS5. So Google, your YouTube algorithms, your Facebook news feeds, everything is cranked on a higher level for the PS5 after this little fake outrage that people have. On a side note, PS4 DualShock is not compatible with PS5. They mentioned that they have those special features in another blog post, saying that a lot of components, like such as headsets, will work with the PS5, which that's great. But they're not going to let the DualShock 4 work with PS5 games because it has its own special features. Again, as long as people are spelling the word right, it's still going to boost the SEO. So that quote from before the internet was really existed, that is actually lived out as a very, very prophetic quote. Xbox is, of course, doing the opposite and allowing the controllers to work on the other console. But the main thing here is they want the artist to be able to maintain the creative vision. Like if you put the default to something for the PlayStation DualShock 4, if they would have put the default setting to off for the speaker, for the controller, then nobody would have even tried it, you know? The default was on. When we bought PS4 for the first time and played those first games like Killzone, Shadowfall, we heard little sounds coming out of the controller's speakers. And if developers didn't have that set to default, set to on, nobody would ever turn that on. So that's kind of like the similar argument Sony has here, where they're sort of saying like um, the DualShock 4 doesn't have those features, and if they don't force you to use those features, then you might not use those features. It's a weak argument. Sony is kind of whack for that. Um, in a little bit. But to be honest, the haptic feedback is where I really think gaming is improving next gen. So, of course, I personally think you should not even want to use any DualShock 4s, even, if you're having your friends over or whatever. I really like sort of separating the console generations. But the thing is, and I think Sony did not see this coming probably as an anti consumer claim. See, the thing is, there's a split difference on what people think. And, I've come to realize that more mainstream gamers actually prefer what Microsoft does and is trying to do now, where they're talking about, blurring the lines between console generations. And the thing that you have to realize is hardcore gamers like me and probably whoever's listening to this right now, we get excited for new console generations and the transition and new hardware coming out and getting a PS5 instead of a PS4. But most gamers, mainstream gamers, are not as into it as us. That's the thing. Okay? So a lot of us, you probably are like me and you don't really mind having to buy a PS5 controller. I'm not really upset about that. And for my PS4 controllers, I'd rather keep them aside with my PS4. If I pack it up and don't use it, or if I put it on a display with a bunch of consoles all over the place, it's my choice. But, a lot of people like to sell it to pay for the next upgrade. There's nothing wrong with that if that's your choice. It's all your choice. But you got to realize is that not everybody is super into upgrading every single time right away and buying all the new stuff for it. And even nowadays with the stuff, everything that's going on and just the way that people are feeling, they're not really excited about a new console in as much, and they need to be proven and convinced that it's worth it. And so Sony's kind of playing tone deaf on it, but to me personally, I don't really care. I was not really expecting to use a DualShock 4 anyways. And I think that Microsoft felt the vibe in the gaming community that this is sort of the popular. It may not be the vocalized feeling of gamers, but it is according to Twitter, now they have the opinion of more mainstream gamers thanks to Twitter. But yeah, you hardcore gamers out there, yeah, like we don't really care. This is nothing new to us. This new console generation every time. It should get the most out of the system, but it is a weak argument and it is tone deaf. And Sony, you're having an event about PS4 when you're about to drop PS5. Oh Lord, I kind of wonder because Resident Evil 8, which they keep on saying to call it Resident Evil Village, and I guess I eventually probably will, just like how the word connect became a real word after Project Natal, which is weird. But well, let's not go back to that Xbox 360 days. But here's the thing. Capcom canceled Resident Evil 8 for PS4, but they're getting excited to announce PSVR for Resident Evil 8 on PS5 using the PS4's VR headset, we assume. And if Sony's not going to release their headset until like mid-generation, which might be a possibility, then they're not even going to bother to announce or show any sort of PSVR 2.0 support. So that's fine. So that's a little bit more pro-consumer if they don't release the VR headset yet. While everybody's broke, stuck at home, having a hard time maybe switching jobs, switching careers. Maybe you don't even have that many games for it yet, Sony. So like, maybe the price is I personally don't mind investing in good hardware. It's getting harder and harder as we're all struggling right now with everything that's going on and stuff. It's going to be a bit of more of a challenge to get that PS5 than originally thought, right? But we're still gonna do everything we can to try and get it. And a lot of people right now are switching gears to thinking like, hey, maybe I don't need to buy the consoles right away. And if they put out a headset right away, oh, maybe I don't need PSVR 2.0 right away. So if you don't come with it, like Killzone said, shouts out to DJ Killzone Jones. He's kind of on the other side of this, where he's thinking like, he'll upgrade probably because we're editors, we're writers, we're content creators, we're journalists. We go to the events, we meet the press, we put out the videos, we make the gameplay, we buy everything. We even, I even hack everything. But that's a whole separate topic for the personal channel on the side. Thing is, it's a crazy world nowadays, and Sony, I don't know if you're doing this on purpose or not, but you are blasting your SEO into outer space right now. PlayStation 5 SEO is about to be on Mars, Jupiter, Europa, and all y'all haters out there, every time you hate on something, you boost the SEO of that thing. So just remember that. You're causing it to get more views when you hate on it. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. And until next time, keep it real or keep it gaming. Peace. If you like our video, thumbs up and subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified about each new video we make.
Gotta get the follows.
Thanks for checking out today's video. Like and subscribe and ring the bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos. Peace.